And good evening again. Um, what this video is going to be about is there's something that has been changing in me, and it is the way I've been attending to. I mean, the whole journey to me was about turning inward to a large degree, because I'm turning inward and comparing with what you find on the outside. I mean, that's comparing notes with the people that are on the spectrum. Um, but one of the things that I'm noticing is changing, increasing, is a level of stress. I'm sort of, it's, I'm in my mind comparing it to what I remember of when I used to talk with the doctor or someone say, look, I just feel fatigued, I feel stressed, I feel blah 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 all the time, and oh, was it something new? And again, when it's been a lifelong thing, especially when you've been to the doctor or been to doctors and they've given you every explanation for everything, that except what the cause of it is, and um, so anyway, I was sort of looking, just comparing what I would feel then with what I feel now, and it is different. Um, I think because I looked for external causes. I looked for, it was work, it was something that happened, physically around me that caused me more stress, finances, or something. And so I'm always looking in that direction. It's like, okay, this is why I'm stressed. Well, this is different now. This is something that I'm very aware of what I'm feeling. Um, I mean, I just, I don't know how to describe it other than it's almost, it's like I'm saying it's an anxiety, definitely. Um, but it's a fatigue. Um, and it seems to be, I guess I'm trying to think today. Well, okay, back up to 2.5 minutes in. After I saw the counselor on Friday, when I got home, I was a little euphoric because I mean, it was like another connection. It's like first I was like euphoric because I found the answer, and then I'm euphoric because I found the community, and now I'm euphoric because I find somebody who could possibly help and guide and understand and help me improve and help me see. I mean, it's this, to take steps into resolving problems in my life. And that's a pretty big thing, especially, well, I won't go into the details. Go back a couple, it was on a Friday, or I think Saturday I made it, but it was just last Saturday. Well, what I experienced that Friday night was I was very emotionally touched. I was very it was, I'm trying to think of an analogy here. Um, it was a very mixed feeling because it was almost a combination of relief, oh my gosh, I finally found someone that can help out, but it also started to, it's a double, it's a two-way street there. You're it's to deal with it. It's to, I think, I guess I'm trying to look for is, in a way you kind of let down. It's sort of like it's like, oh my gosh, finally, I've been putting on, and this is a big part of it. I finally feel like I can stop with this crazy level of control and personal manipulation of emotions and all this other stuff um, that I had to do, or felt I had to do, and I think I had to do in order to function in this world. It's like, okay, you've got a house now, you've got responsibilities, and it's just too bad that that the X, Y, and Z is happening. You can't attend to that now. Well, I don't know if I agree that was kind of learned as a child. I mean, I think it all is part of that masking and that coping strategy that we learned either from other people telling us what we can and can't do, or how we learn to cope ourselves, going up, this didn't work, I got to do something else, and you end up finding something that at least works. It may not be a good solution, but it works. And I think that's what I look back at my whole life, and it seems like there's a lot of that in there. So this is all part of that journey, is going back there, and you're able to say, okay, well, that didn't work. Can I do something better? Yeah, I can. And it's very, 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 very stressful. Um, and that might be what I'm feeling now. But what is strange, and this is what happened Friday, I have, ever since I started looking back into, I want to say, in the stimming behaviors that I had as a child, I can remember things I did with my hands. I can remember things I did with my legs. That's all I can really remember. I don't ever remember rocking. But when I was exploring that again in the last 6 months, I was going, okay, I remember I would sit here and bounce my leg, and as I was bouncing it, I was like rocking. I'm going, I wonder if I was actually rocking a little. And as soon as I started rocking, and it's just, I just felt this, and I just right now, it doesn't take much. It just takes the edge. I mean, it's like a pressure point. It's the only way I can describe it. There's a pressure point here. If you ever have a headache or something, if you grab that part and you put pressure, let's see if you can show it. Oh, I can't turn myself. Put pressure right in that web. Like if you have a headache or something right now, or if you have some sort of a body pain, as long as you hold that. I mean, I had a gallbladder attack to where I ended up being fetal position. Eventually it didn't work, but I was able to stop that kind of a pain even with this block. This is a real block. And that's the best way I can describe what the stim does. It is like a pressure point for my neurological system. It's just, if you're autistic, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, maybe this will give you a clue. Well, different stims. I mean, sometimes I feel very finger stimmy. Sometimes it's just like in bed, like I can manage to rock somewhat, but then I also, if my hands are free, I can, it's just, I'm way off on a tangent. I'm so sorry. Yeah, me. Um, what happened today at work? Uh, if I get caught up, I have time that I can actually sit, and it was like around, it was about lunchtime. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it was about lunchtime, but I've had this tension growing. It's been for weeks now, if not months. And well, sure enough, I was at work. Part of it is when I think about things. I mean, some of it is things that are happening in my head. I guess there's different triggers, is what I'm trying to say. And I was feeling that to the point of and what I actually in the afternoon when this really hit me, I was waiting to get home, or for the time, I had like 10 minutes there. I just had nothing really to do, and I had to get up and walk around. I walked around, and with different stems that I had done. Well, that's not normal for me. I guess it is, but this is a very, very odd thing for me. Um, and I'm noticing it's. I've talked about there's sort of a well of sadness or mourning or something that started coming out of me um, after I found I was on the spectrum, and it it was a lot stronger when it first started. It was more frequent, um, but it still can just hit me. You know, it's hit me when I've been doing videos. Um, and I mean, if I let it, you know, if I get to the point where I mean, I would be embarrassed to be videotaped when I fall apart like that, you know. But it's just, I asked the question on one of the Facebook groups I'm in, and I said, you know, to all these people that are late diagnosed, um, do you actually become more autistic? Is this a passing phase, or is this the real me coming out? Um, I think it's the latter. I mean, it could be partially a phase too, but with what happened Friday, with feeling like for the first time I could, if the stress, okay, if if the stress would continue to increase, I know at some point I can know I might not be able to find a way to relieve that stress. And I think that is when this is a parallel example of when I had an infected gallbladder and went to the emergency room on that Friday night, and it was I, as I could manage the pain. I mean, you know, at first you roll and you kind of get in different positions, and then it keeps getting worse and worse and worse until finally, um, you know, I mean, finally you start going fetal. You really do. I mean, I was starting to go to the fetal position and was pulling on my hair. I mean, and gosh, I don't remember if I was rocking now that I'm thinking of it. But anyway, um, and it's totally involuntary. And yelling. I mean, out of pain, it was just moaning. I mean, it was that kind of oh, you know, just that you can't you can't hold it in. You don't. And that's what I'm thinking. That's what I felt like I could see that if the stress would continue, if I could not find. I mean, I didn't feel like I was ready to melt down. I don't know. I never did it before. I don't know how close I really was. I may have been, you know, that was nothing, Tom. You know, you're just starting to feel your normal anxiety. That might be true. I don't know. Anyway, it's a strange part of the journey that I'm in, and I guess just time will tell. You know. Anyway, if you have similar experiences, please write it in the comments below and share your journey. Please. That's, I mean, I don't want to be the solo person on YouTube, you know, going through all this. I know I'm not. I mean, I think it would help everybody. The more people that talk about their journey, the better, is all I'm saying. So anyway, you're 13 minutes in. Thank you. To be continued, as always. This is my ASD journey, and we'll talk with you later. And I should have gotten this thing ready so I could pop it off and